We left off 23. Bottom paragraph. Page 23, Mesus Hashem, bottom paragraph. It said that people who are wise, what do they want to achieve? They want to achieve perfection. And they understand anything less than that is considered deficient. So therefore they understand it's worthwhile to be fully invested to bring about that level of perfection. But he says people less wise, what do they want to do? They want to get away doing less. They just want to do what's right. But qualitatively, what's considered right? As long as they fulfill their obligation to do what's right. But in terms of achievement, to achieve perfection, that they don't appreciate the value of perfection. So the Chacham, the one who's wise, he understands because of the value of perfection, whatever it's necessary to bring that about, the investment is worthwhile, the application is worthwhile. Ach lepchusam elu. He says those of lesser aptitude. Okay? Tia oro lefi avchonosam. He says they'll only be motivated by the power of their own perceptions. V'hu lefi inyan hakavod hashem misavim lo. Self-interest. Right? What do you serve? You want to be acknowledged. You know something? You know, everybody, as they say, each man has his price. So, to what degree, what am I willing to give for that? Right? For that honor, what are you willing to give? Okay? So it depends. So, it's what you desire. V'zeki haposhut, ki ze poshut, eitzel kol bardas. Sheni hamadreg s'mischalkus b'olam hamiti, shu'olam habo, l'fi hamasim. Everyone understands that the various levels in the world to come is differentiated based on what? On one's accomplishments, what you accomplish in this world. Whoever level of accomplishment is greater than his fellow, he will be more advanced in the world to come. And a person has lesser accomplishments, he will be the lesser person. Im Kain, Efo, how could one neglect his actions, or minimize his effort and his initiative? Ultimately, he's going to be pained. He'll only realize that when a time when he won't be able to correct the evils, the inequity, his error, he says. So he does the right thing, but he doesn't do it perfectly. He does it enough that satisfies him. But what is that satisfaction? That itself clearly indicates you're doing it for yourself, you're not doing it for God. Or I've done enough for God. You know? We'll go halfway on this one. Right? Nobody's telling over a joke. There's a joke, you know, it's a Jewish type joke. This person is fleeing from the enemy, and he comes to he's running in the jungle, and he comes and he sees the bridge was washed out, and he has to span this ravine. So he takes a log, very narrow log, and he puts it across from one side to the next, and he has to walk and maintain his balance on this log, this narrow log. So before he gets on the log, he realizes he may not make it to the other. There's this raging river below, and he makes a commitment to Hashem. If I make it to the other side, $10,000 to tzedakah. Okay? It's a lot of money. So, and he's inching his way across. He has one foot about to put on the other side. He thinks to himself, you know, $10,000 is a lot of money. Maybe I was too hasty. The moment he has that thought, all of a sudden the log gives a jolt, he nearly falls in. He says, God, I'm only joking. I don't really mean it. You understand? Why did you make the commitment? You made the commitment because you want to give charity? Because you want to make sure you make it to the other side. So as long as the person feels safe, no, what's it worth? What am I willing to give? But that's an indication of what are you giving for what? You're giving for yourself, you're not giving for God. Because if you're doing for God's sake, then, and you understand the value of that, then you give it all. So that's the person who really understands it. Of course, at different levels. But we're talking. Nobody's saying you shouldn't grow from the bottom. Okay? That's why some people you have to cut down to size. Okay. Vina Yishmin Apsoim. He says that those fools, Pesi, like I always say, a fool person's only a fool if he should have known better. A person who has limited understanding because he can't know better, he's not a fool. He's limited. The word psa means those who are seduced. Right? Pitui is seduction. Those who allow themselves to be seduced. So they're fools, they're foolish. Hamavakshim rak lohokil me'aleim. All they look is to make it easier for themselves, to lighten their obligation. What do we have to wear ourselves down and tire ourselves with all this chasidus and precious, piety and abstinence? You know, as long as I make it under the wire, as long as I don't go to Gehenna, it's enough. No, you don't have to sit in the box seats, right, or whatever you want to call it. Do I have to go to the inner sanctums of Gan Eden? If we don't have a larger share, we'll have a smaller share. You know, you can have the best of both worlds. You have this world and you have the world to come. We're not going to burden ourselves, add to our burden to have that greater share. He says, these are the foolish people. That's the way they speak. You know? This is being penny wise, minimally, and pound foolish. You're willing to give it all away for what? You know? So depends how great of a fool you are. Okay, well, it's a separate discussion. A fool's a fool's a fool, regardless of why he's a fool. He's still a fool.
You say this person should know better because
no, we're not saying
because he's recognizing that there is no Haba and there is value to it. He just
we're talking about the trade-off. What is the trade-off? What is he giving up for what?
He's acknowledging those things.
The answer is because he's into himself. When you're into yourself, you know, you will give it all away for that. Exactly, because he's seduced by his physicality. Okay. The Chofetz Chaim points out that even if a person does tshuva at the end of his life, for all the wrong he didn't put on tefillin, didn't observe Shabbos, and he does a complete tshuva before he dies, he's not going to be punished for not doing the mitzvahs or for transgressing. But what share does he have in the world to come? Factually, he never put on tefillin. When you put on tefillin, especially with the proper intent, it advances you, it spiritualizes you. You eat matzah, you sit in the sukkah, and you say Kriya Shema, it advances you. All those various levels of advancement he doesn't have. So although you may make it into Olam Haba, but at what level are you going to be in Olam Haba? You're going to be way behind, way behind. Because again, all that was necessary to develop yourself, you never participated. It's the same idea. And that's something, you're stuck in that place forever. Of course, the world comes eternity. And then the person will realize forever, and that's the pain. This famous Rabbeinu Yonah in Pirkei Avos, he says, as a human being, we do the wrong thing. Even though it's, initially we have tremendous shame when it's found out. But over time, people forget, you forget, and the pain becomes less, the embarrassment becomes less. Why? Because he says the physicality of the person causes forgetting. But in Olam Haba, there is no physicality. So everything continuously remains blatantly as clear as the first moment. So that means when you come and you realize where you failed, you never get used to that. You'll always recognize with that same level of absolute clarity what you did not achieve. So you will be paying for all eternity for what? For your lack of involvement, for the trade-off.
one who dies off Kiddush Hashem, is that...
But it's because Kiddush Hashem, something else. But he's still not going to get credit for tefillin. He'll get credit for Kiddush Hashem. So he'll be catapulted to a very high level. But what will he be at that high level? He's not going to have tefillin, he's not going to have matzah, he's not going to have sukkah, he's not going to have all the mitzvahs he didn't do, he's not going to have. But a person has everything and he dies al Kiddush Hashem. He was known, the Baba Sali, he had a brother. His name was David. Rav David Achatzer was named after. There was a great uncle of his, where there was a time the king of Morocco, for some reason, he believed that the Jews were conspiring to overthrow him, whatever it is. And they took he was a Dayan in Morocco, and they took him and they condemned him to be killed. And what they did was they took a cannon and they put him before the cannon and they fired the cannon directly at him. And he was just blown to pieces, literally destroyed. His body, everything was destroyed. That's why he was killed. That was the brother of the Baba Sali. He died on Kiddush Hashem. And after that happened, it was revealed immediately the whole thing was baseless, and he regretted what he did, the king, whatever it was, and the Jews were reinstated to be dedicated subjects of the king in Morocco. Okay? Man like that, you have it all, plus Kiddush Hashem. Okay? So that's a special level. And he attributed the reason why the decree was annulled was because of in the schus of the Kiddush Hashem of this Rav David Bar Chatzera. That's the reason why things became clarified afterwards. Whatever it was, yeah. But it was more than just kapara. It was Kiddush Hashem. He gave his life, and the type of person he was who gave his life to be continued.